Captain Lee Dongwu sat in his command chair aboard the research vessel, New Seoul. The ship was 3 months into its deep space mission. They were looking for new planets and studying star systems far from Earth. The crew was small but skilled. Everyone had their job and did it well. Dr. Park Sun-mi worked at her science station. She was the ship's xenobiologist. Her job was to study any alien life they might find. She had been hoping for this moment her whole career. The chance to meet something truly alien. Lieutenant Kim Jae-ho stood near the security station. He was the head of ship security. A calm man who never seemed worried about anything. His team was small but well trained. They had never faced real combat before. The bridge was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Outside the windows, stars stretched in all directions. Space looked peaceful and empty. One expected what was coming next. Communications officer. Han So-young looked up from her station. Her face showed concern. Captain, I'm getting strange readings. Multiple ships approaching fast. Captain Lee turned toward her. How many ships? At least 12. Maybe more. They're big ones too. Warships from the look of them. Dr. Park moved to the sensor station. She studied the readings with excitement. Captain, these are alien vessels. This is first contact. We're about to meet another species. Lieutenant Kim stepped forward. Captain, they're not answering our messages, and they're moving in attack formation. The main screen showed the approaching fleet. The ships were dark and angular. They looked like they were built for war. Sharp edges and weapon ports covered their hulls. These were not peaceful exploration vessels. Captain Lee made his decision quickly. All hands, this is the captain. We have contact with unknown alien vessels. Everyone stay calm and follow orders. We're going to try to talk to them. Han So-young worked at her station. I'm sending friendship signals on all frequencies. Basic math, music, pictures, everything. We prepared for first contact. The alien ships kept coming. They spread out in a hunting pattern, like wolves surrounding prey. The largest ship moved to the center. It was twice the size of the New Seoul. On the bridge of the alien flagship, War Commander Dexmar studied the human ship. He was a large, reptilian creature with dark scales covering his body. His eyes were yellow and cold. Scars covered his face and arms from many battles. What do our scans show? He asked his science officer. The ship contains living beings. Commander, they appear to be mammals. Pink skin, no natural armor or scales. Very soft-looking creatures. Vexmar smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. Soft. Creatures in a metal shell. How typical, okay? These mammals think their machines can protect them, okay? They have no idea what real strength looks like, okay? The Vorthok had conquered 47 worlds. They were proud warriors who believed might made right. Their own scales could stop most weapons. They had never met a species that could fight back effectively. Commander, the weapons officer reported. They're sending us signals, pictures, and sounds. It looks like they want to communicate. Dexmar laughed. Of course they do. The weak always want to talk when they meet the strong. It won't save them. Prepare boarding parties. We'll take their ship and add these soft creatures to our collection. Okay? Back on the New Seoul, the crew watched as smaller ships separated from the alien fleet. The boarding craft moved toward them quickly. Captain, Kim Jae-ho said, they're coming to board us. Should we raise shields? Do it. We keep trying to communicate. Maybe this is just a misunderstanding. Dr. Park shook her head. Captain, look at those ships. They're designed for war. I don't think they came here to make friends. The boarding craft attached to the New Seoul's hull. Cutting tools began working on the outer doors. The aliens were coming in whether the humans wanted them or not. All security teams to boarding positions. Kim Jae-ho ordered. Remember, we don't know what these beings want. Try to stay calm and don't start shooting unless they do. The alien cutting tools finished their work. The ship's hull opened with a loud crash. 4 soldiers poured through the breach. They were tall and strong, covered in thick scales. Each one carried weapons that glowed with deadly energy. The lead Warthog soldier was named Vexter. He had been in hundreds of battles. His scales were darker than the others, marked with battle scars. He looked around the human ship with contempt. "Look at this place," he told his soldiers. "Clean and bright. These soft creatures live like children. This will be easier than taking candy from a baby." The Vorthog moved through the ship's corridors. Their weapons were ready. They expected to find cowering mammals hiding in corners. Instead, they found humans calmly going about their work. Engineer Choi Minho was fixing a control panel when 3 Vorthog soldiers found him, who looked up at them with mild interest. "Oh, hello there," he said in a friendly voice. "You must be our visitors. Welcome aboard the New Soul." The Vorthog soldiers stared at him. The small pink creature was greeting them like old friends. It showed no fear at all. "Surrender immediately," Vexter ordered, "or we will kill you where you stand." Choi Minho looked confused. "Kill me? Why would you want to do that? We're explorers, not warriors. We came here in peace." "Peace?" Vexter laughed. "There's no peace for the weak, only death or slavery." He raised his plasma rifle and pointed it at the human. The weapon charged with a high, whining sound. Energy crackled along its barrel. The other Vorthog soldiers stepped back. They had seen this weapon cut through solid metal. "Readily. Wish you wouldn't do that," Choi Minho said politely. "Violence never solves anything." Vexter pulled the trigger. A bolt of superheated plasma shot from the weapon. It hit Choi Minho directly in the chest. The energy should have burned a hole through his body. Instead, the plasma bolt spread across the human's chest and faded away. Choi Minho looked down at his slightly warm shirt. "Well, that was rude," he said. "You've made a scorch mark on my uniform." The Vorthog soldiers stared in shock. Their most powerful personal weapon had done nothing. The soft pink creature was completely unharmed. "Impossible," Vexter whispered. "Nothing can survive a direct plasma hit. Nothing." More Vorthog soldiers were having similar experiences throughout the ship. They found humans everywhere, all acting completely normal. When they shot at them, the weapons simply had no effect. Dr. Park Sunmi was in her laboratory when 4 soldiers burst in. She was studying star charts and didn't look up immediately. "Excuse me," she said, without turning around. "But could you please keep the noise down? I'm trying to work here." The soldiers opened fire with everything they had. Plasma bolts, energy, beams, and shock weapons all struck the small human woman. She continued working as if nothing had happened. Finally, she turned around and looked at them with mild annoyance. "Are you finished? Because some of us have actual work to do." Reports came flooding back to War Commander Dexmar. Every boarding party was reporting the same impossible thing. The humans could not be harmed. Their weapons were useless. "This cannot be," Dexmar roared. "Our weapons can cut through battleship armor. How can these soft creatures survive them?" The science officer was studying the sensor readings frantically. "Commander, I'm detecting no energy shields or protective fields. It's like their skin is just naturally resistant to our weapons." Dexmar's eyes narrowed. "Then we use bigger weapons. Prepare the ship's main guns. We'll see how tough these creatures really are." The war had begun, but neither side knew it yet. War Commander Dexmar stood on his bridge, staring at the reports from his boarding parties. Every single soldier was saying the same impossible thing. The humans could not be hurt by their weapons. It made no sense. "Science Officer Klexavon," he called out, "explain this to me. How are these soft creatures surviving our plasma weapons?" The science officer looked nervous. Scales were pale with fear. "Commander, I have checked our weapons 3 times. They're working perfectly. The power levels are normal. Okay. The human skin is not taking damage. Dexmar slammed his fist on the command console. That is impossible. Our weapons can melt through steel. They can cut holes in battleships. These pink mammals should be dead. On the new Sol, Dr. Park Sunmi was having a very different conversation. She stood in the main corridor with several other crew members. 4th Act soldiers surrounded them, but no one looked worried. "This is fascinating," she said to Communications Officer Han So-young. "Look at their weapons. The energy output is impressive, but it's designed for creatures with very different biology than ours." A Vorthok soldier heard her talking and became angry. "Silence, creature. You will not mock our weapons." He fired his rifle at her 3 times. Each shot hit her directly. Each shot did nothing. Dr. Park brushed at her lab coat where the shots had hit. "You're getting scorch marks on my clothes. That's not very polite." Lieutenant Kim Jae-ho walked down the corridor toward them. He had been checking on his security teams. 6 Vorthok soldiers saw him coming and opened fire at the same time. The corridor filled with bright energy beams. The wall behind Kim Jae-ho melted from the heat. His uniform got a little warm, but he kept walking normally. "Gentlemen," he said in a calm voice, "I need to ask you to stop shooting at my crew. We're trying to be friendly here, but you're making it difficult." The Vorthok soldiers stepped back in fear. Their leader, Vexstar, was shaking. "What are you? Creatures? What kind of devils are you?" Kim Jae-ho looked confused. "It's devils. We're just humans. We're explorers from Earth. We came here to study the stars and meet new friends." "Friends?" Vexstar laughed, but it sounded forced. "Nothing that can survive plasma fire wants to be friends. You must be warriors. It's the most dangerous warriors in the galaxy." Dr. Park stepped forward. "Actually, we're scientists. I study alien life forms. My friend here studies security systems. We're probably the most peaceful ship in human space." Another Vorthok soldier tried a different weapon. This one shot electric bolts instead of plasma. The lightning hit Engineer Choi Minho in the back. He turned around looking annoyed. He said, "But it also messed up my hair. I just combed it this morning." The reports kept coming to War Commander Thexmar. His soldiers were becoming more frightened by the minute. Some were asking to return to the ship. Others were begging him to retreat entirely. "Commander, his weapons." Officers said, "The boarding parties are requesting permission to return. They say the humans are too dangerous to fight." Kaesmar's pride was wounded. The Vorthok had never retreated from anyone. They were the strongest race in the galaxy. At least, that's what they had always believed. "Call back all boarding parties," he ordered. "Personal weapons won't work. We'll use ship weapons. Prepare the main guns." The Vorthok soldiers began pulling back from the new Sol. They moved quickly, looking over their shoulders. Ate had never seen anything like these humans before. Captain Lee Dongwoo watched from his bridge as the alien soldiers retreated. He felt sorry for them. They looked terrified. Captain Han So-young said, "They're powering up their main weapons. Those are some serious guns they have." "How serious?" Captain Lee asked. "Big enough to destroy a city. Maybe big enough to crack a moon." Dr. Park joined them on the bridge. "Captain, I think I understand what's happening. These aliens evolved very differently than we did. Their weapons are designed to fight creatures like themselves." "What do you mean?" Captain Lee asked. "Look at their scales. They're thick and hard, but they're not very flexible. Their weapons are made to punch through that kind of armor. But human skin is different. It's soft and flexible. It absorbs energy instead of breaking." Lieutenant Kim Jae-ho nodded, like the difference between hitting a rock and hitting a pillow. The rock breaks, but the pillow just bounces back. Outside, the Vorthok flagship was charging its main weapons. The gun barrels glowed with deadly energy. Other ships in the fleet were doing the same thing. War Commander Dexmar stood ready to give the order. "All ships, target the human vessel. We'll see how tough they really are when we hit them with everything we have. Sir, his science officer said quietly, maybe we should try talking to them first. They haven't attacked us. Maybe they really do want to be friends. Vexmar turned on him with anger. Friends, they made fools of our warriors. They humiliated our weapons. No one does that to the Vorthok Empire. The main guns fired. Beams of pure energy shot across space. Each one carried enough power to destroy a small ship. All of them hit the new soul at the same time. The space around the human ship lit up like a star. The energy was so bright it could be seen from 3 solar systems away. The attack lasted for 30 seconds. When the light faded, the new soul sat in space exactly where it had been before. Not a single mark showed on its hull. Captain Lee Dongwu sat in his command chair, reading a book. He looked up when the attack ended. Han So-young, he said calmly, open a channel to the alien. Fleet. Channel open, Captain. Captain Lee looked at the main screen. This is Captain Lee Dongwu of the human vessel New Soul. We came here in peace to explore and learn. You have chosen to attack us without provocation. We are still willing to talk, but our patience has limits. On the Vorthok flagship, every officer stared at the screen in shock. War Commander Dexmar's mouth hung open. His most powerful weapons had done nothing. Nothing at all. How is this possible? He whispered. His science officer was working frantically at his station. Commander, I'm reading no damage to their ship. No energy shields. No protective fields. It's like our weapons just bounced off them. Smar felt something he had never felt before. Fear. Real, deep fear. What kind of creatures are these humans? What kind of monsters have we found? Dr. Park Sundami was explaining the situation to her colleagues. Earth is a very dangerous planet. We evolved to survive things that would kill most other species. Extreme heat, extreme cold, poisonous air, deadly storms. Our bodies had to become incredibly tough just to stay alive. So we're naturally resistant to their weapons. K. Engineer Choi Minho asked. K. Not just resistant, immune. Their weapons are designed for creatures with rigid armor. Okay? We have flexible, self-healing skin. It's like trying to cut water with a sword, Captain. Lee decided to try one more time to make peace. Alien vessels, we don't want to fight you. We want to learn about you and share knowledge. Please, let us talk. War Commander Dexmar was breathing heavily. His scales were pale with shock. Humans had survived his best weapons without even trying. What would happen if they decided to fight back? Commander, his communications officer said. They're asking us to talk. Dexmar looked around his bridge. His officers were all staring at him. They wanted him to make a decision. But he had never faced anything like this before. Send a message to High Command, he said finally. Tell them we have found something impossible. Tell them we need the Death Fleet. The war was about to get much bigger. Part 3. The misunderstanding deepens. War Commander Dexmar sat in his private quarters, staring at the reports. His hands shook as he read them over and over. The humans had survived everything. Personal weapons, ship weapons, even his flagship's main cannon. Nothing worked. He activated his communication device and connected to Vorthok High Command. The screen showed Supreme Admiral Korthvex, the most powerful military leader in the Empire. War Commander Dexmar, the Admiral said in a deep voice. Your reports are difficult to believe. You claim to have found creatures that cannot be killed. Yes, Supreme Admiral. I have attacked them with everything we have. They do not even seem to notice our weapons. They act like we are throwing flowers at them. Supreme Admiral Korthvex leaned forward. His scales were darker than Vexmar's and covered in battle scars. Show me the recordings. Vexmar played the videos from the boarding action. The Admiral watched human after human get hit by plasma weapons and walk away unharmed. He saw the massive ship weapon attack that did nothing. Impossible, the Admiral whispered. What kind of defensive technology do they have? That is the strangest part, Supreme Admiral. Our scans show no energy shields, no protective fields, no armor. It appears to be their natural skin doing this. The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Natural skin that can stop plasma weapons, that cannot be real. I have seen it with my own eyes, Supreme Admiral. These humans are unlike anything we have ever encountered. I request immediate reinforcements. Q. We'll have them. I am sending the Death Fleet. If these creatures cannot be killed by normal weapons, we will use weapons that can destroy planets. The Death Fleet was the most powerful war force in Warthog history. 24 ships, each one capable of cracking a moon. Their weapons could delete entire star systems from existence. Meanwhile, aboard the New Soul, Dr. Park Sunmi was explaining human evolution to her crew. I sat in the main conference room, trying to understand what made them so different. The key. About Earth, she said. Our planet tried to kill us every single day for millions of years. Ice ages that lasted thousands of years. Volcanoes that blocked out the sun. Storms that could level mountains. Communications officer Han So-young looked puzzled. But lots of planets have bad weather. It's not like Earth. Most planets in the galaxy are much gentler. Now look at what we know about the Vorthok homeworld from their ship scans. Warm temperatures all year. It's no major storms, no dangerous animals. It's like a paradise. Lieutenant Kim Jae-ho nodded. So they never had to become tough. Like us. Exactly. They evolved skills for protection, yes, but only from small threats. We evolved to survive things that would kill most galactic species instantly. Engineer Choi Minho raised his hand. What kind of things? Dr. Park smiled. Radiation from space, extreme temperatures, poisonous plants and animals. Our ancestors had to survive being struck by lightning, hit by falling rocks, attacked by giant predators. So our skin had to become super tough. Han So-young asked. Not just tough, it's flexible and self-healing too. When you get hit by their plasma weapons, your skin absorbs the energy and spreads it out. It's like dropping a rock into water instead of onto concrete. Captain Lee Dongwoo entered the room. I have news. Our long-range sensors are detecting a large fleet approaching, much bigger than the one we faced before. How big, Lieutenant? Kim asked. 24 ships. Each one is massive. These aren't just warships. These are planet killers. Dr. Park looked worried for the first time. Captain, I don't think they understand what we are. They probably think we're using some kind of super technology. What do you mean? To them, surviving their weapons must seem impossible. They can't imagine that natural evolution could create something like us. They assume we must have incredible defensive technology. Captain Lee sat down heavily. And now they're bringing bigger guns to break through our defenses that don't exist. Exactly. They're going to keep escalating until they understand the truth. 3 days later, the Death Fleet arrived. Supreme Admiral Korthvex commanded from the flagship destroyer of worlds. The ship was 10 times larger than anything the humans had seen before. The Admiral studied the small human research vessel. It looked so tiny and fragile compared to his massive fleet. Yet this little ship had survived everything War Commander Thexmar could throw at it. Science Officer Veltar, the Admiral called. What do our scans show? It's the same as before, Supreme Admiral. No energy shields, no defensive fields, just the ship's normal hull and the creatures inside. That makes no sense. How can natural biology survive plasma weapons? I don't know, Supreme Admiral, but our scans are very clear. Whatever is protecting them It's not technology we can detect. The Admiral made his decision. All ships, prepare planet-killer weapons. We'll see how tough these creatures really are. Aboard the New Soul, alarms started ringing. The sensors showed energy readings unlike anything they had ever seen before. Captain Han Soyoung said with fear in her voice, "They're charging weapons that could destroy entire planets. The energy readings are off the charts." Captain Lee looked at his crew. These were good people. Scientists and explorers who had never wanted to fight anyone. Now they were facing weapons that could wipe out solar systems. "Ain't everyone to emergency stations," he ordered. "Secure all equipment. This is going to be rough." The Park was studying the sensor readings. "Captain, these weapons are thousands of times more powerful than what they used before. I'm not sure even we can survive this. We'll find out soon." "Enough," Captain Lee said calmly. The Death Fleet opened fire. Every ship fired at once. The weapons were so powerful, they created tears in space itself. Energy beams that could slice through planets, all focused on the tiny human ship. The attack was visible from 5 star systems away. Space itself seemed to catch fire. The energy release was so massive, it created its own gravity field. For 10 minutes, the bombardment continued. Weapon after weapon fired at the New Soul. The combined firepower could have destroyed 100 worlds. When the attack finally ended, space was filled with glowing energy clouds. The heat was so intense, it melted asteroids thousands of miles away. Supreme Admiral Korthvex watched the aftermath on his screens. Nothing could have survived that attack. Nothing in the known galaxy. His sensor officer said quietly, "I'm detecting something in the energy cloud." "What is it?" "It's the human ship, sir. It's still there." The energy clouds slowly cleared. The New Soul sat in space exactly where it had been before. Not a single mark showed on its hull. Through the bridge windows, they could see Captain Lee Dongwu sitting in his command chair. He was reading the same book he had been reading before the attack started. Supreme Admiral Korthvex stared in shock. His most powerful weapons had done nothing. Absolutely nothing. "It is impossible," he whispered. "Nothing can survive the Death Fleet. Nothing." His science officer was working frantically. "Sir, the human ship is completely undamaged. There's no energy readings, no heat signature changes. It's like our weapons never hit them." The Admiral felt something cold in his chest. For the first time in his life, he was truly afraid. What kind of monsters are these humans? What kind of devils have we awakened? War Commander Thaxmar spoke up. "Supreme Admiral, maybe we should try to communicate with them. They have offered to talk every time we attacked." "Talk?" The Admiral's voice was shaking. "How do you talk? 2 creatures that cannot be killed. How do you negotiate with gods?" Captain Lee opened a communication channel to the Death Fleet. His voice was calm and patient. "This is Captain Lee of the New Soul. We have now been attacked by your forces multiple times. We still prefer peace, but we cannot allow this to continue much longer." The words sent fear through every Vorthok ship. What would happen if these impossible humans decided to fight back? What weapons did creatures like this carry? Supreme Admiral Korthvex realized he had made a terrible mistake. It started a war with beings that might be beyond his understanding. The real battle was about to begin. Supreme Admiral Korthvex stood alone in his private chambers. His hands were shaking. His most powerful weapons in Vorthok history had failed. The humans were still alive, still unharmed. Nothing in his military training had prepared him for this. He called his chief scientist, Dr. Mortex, to his chambers. The old Vorthok arrived quickly, his scales pale with worry. "Doctor," the Admiral said, "I need answers. How can these creatures survive our weapons?" Dr. Mortex set up his portable scanner on the Admiral's desk. "Sir, I have been studying the humans very carefully. I think I know what is happening, but you will not like the answer. Tell me everything. These humans are not using any technology to protect themselves. Their skin, their bones, their entire bodies are naturally this strong. The Admiral stared at him. That is impossible. Natural biology cannot stop planet-killer weapons. So, let me show you something. Dr. Mortex activated his scanner. At these readings from their homeworld, this planet they call Earth, images appeared on the screen. The Admiral saw a blue and green world that looked peaceful from space. But as the doctor showed more details, the Admiral's eyes grew wide. Look at the surface temperatures, Dr. Mortex said. They range from hot enough to kill most species, to cold enough to freeze solid. Look at the storms, winds that could blow apart our buildings, lightning that carries more energy than our plasma rifles. The Admiral watched in horror as the screen showed massive hurricanes, tornadoes, and blizzards. What kind of hell world is this? It gets worse, sir. Look at the life forms. The doctor showed images of Earth's animals: lions, tigers, bears, sharks, poisonous snakes. These creatures evolved alongside predators that could kill a Vorthok warrior with ease. Impossible. No intelligent species could evolve on such a world. But they did, sir. The humans lived on this death world for millions of years. Every day, their planet tried to kill them. Only the strongest survived to have children. The Admiral sank into his chair. You're saying they evolved to survive things that would kill us? Not just kill us, sir. It's things that would kill anything. We know. Their ancestors survived ice ages that lasted thousands of years, volcano eruptions that blocked out the sun, meteor impacts that destroyed entire continents. Meanwhile, aboard the New Soul, Dr. Park Sunmi was having a similar conversation with her crew, but her tone was much more cheerful. The poor things, she said about the Vorthok. They're probably terrified. To them, we must seem like monsters. Lieutenant Kim Jae-ho looked confused. Why? We haven't hurt anyone. Think about it from their point of view. They shoot us with weapons that can destroy cities, and we don't even notice. To them, that must seem impossible. Engineer Choi Min-ho nodded, like if we saw someone get hit by a truck and just walk away. Exactly. Okay? They don't understand that we're just built differently. Captain Lee Dongwoo joined the conversation. Dr. Park, can you explain exactly why their weapons don't work on us? It's all about evolution, Captain. Earth is what scientists call a death world. Most planets in the galaxy are much gentler. The Vorthok probably evolved in a world where the biggest danger was falling off a cliff. And Earth tried to kill our ancestors every single day. Extreme heat, extreme cold, deadly storms, poisonous, everything. Our bodies had to become incredibly tough just to survive childhood. Communications Officer Han So-young raised her hand. But what about their weapons? Those plasma guns looked really powerful. Dr. Park smiled. They are powerful for fighting other aliens. But think about what humans survive every day on Earth. We get struck by lightning and live. We fall off mountains and walk away. We swim in waters that would dissolve most alien skin. So their weapons are just not strong enough. Kim Jae-ho asked. It's not about strength. It's about how the energy works. Their plasma weapons are designed to punch through hard scales and armor. But human skin is flexible. It absorbs energy and spreads it out. Captain Lee looked thoughtful, like the difference between hitting a wall and hitting a trampoline. Perfect example, Captain. The wall breaks, but the trampoline bounces back. Back on the Vorthok flagship, Dr. Mortex was showing more disturbing images to Supreme Admiral Corvex. Look at this, sir. Human children play in conditions that would kill adult Vorthok warriors. They swim in waters full of deadly creatures. They climb on rocks that could crush them. They do this for fun. The Admiral watched videos of human children at beaches dealing with waves that could break bones. Children climbing trees that were hundreds of feet tall. Children running around in weather that looked lethal. "These are their young?" he asked in shock. "Yes, sir." And notice something important. The adults let them do these things. It's two humans. This is normal, safe behavior. The Admiral felt sick. What do their warriors look like if these are their children? The terrifying part, sir. These humans on the ship, they're not warriors. They're scientists, researchers, the peaceful ones. Supreme Admiral Korthvex stood up quickly. These are their peaceful scientists. What do their soldiers look like? I don't know, sir, but I don't want to find out. The Admiral paced around his chambers. Everything he thought he knew about the galaxy was wrong. The Warthog had always believed they were the strongest species. They had conquered dozens of worlds with ease. Now they had found creatures so tough that planet-killer weapons couldn't scratch them. And these creatures claimed to be peaceful explorers. Dr. Mortex, the Admiral said slowly, in your opinion, what would happen if these humans decided to fight back? The old scientist was quiet for a long moment. Sir, we have seen that our strongest weapons cannot hurt them. If they have weapons designed to hurt creatures like themselves, we would be completely helpless. Yes, sir. We would be like children throwing pebbles at a battleship. The Admiral made a decision. Send a message to all ships. No one fires. Another shot at the humans. We need to find a way to communicate with them. It's hurt. They have been trying to communicate with us this whole time. We just kept shooting at them instead. The Admiral felt embarrassed. The humans had offered peace from the beginning. The Vorthok had responded with violence. Now they were facing creatures that could destroy them without effort. Get me a communication channel to the human ship, he ordered. On the new Sol, Captain. Lee received the incoming message. Dr. Park, they want to talk. Finally, be careful, Captain. They're probably very scared right now. Scared people do stupid things. The communication channel opened. Supreme Admiral Korthvex appeared on the screen. He looked old and tired. Human Captain, the Admiral said carefully, I am Supreme Admiral Korthvex of the Vorthok Empire. We need to talk. I'm Captain Lee Dongwu. We've been trying to talk to you for days. What changed your mind? The Admiral looked ashamed. We thought you were using some kind of defensive technology. We thought if we used bigger weapons, we could break through your defenses. We don't have any defenses, Admiral. We tried to tell you that. Yes, we understand that now. Our scientists have studied your species. You are not what we expected. Captain Lee smiled kindly. Admiral, we're just people. We come from a tough planet, but we're peaceful. Want to learn about the galaxy and make friends. The Admiral stared at him. These creatures could probably conquer the entire Vorthok Empire without breaking a sweat. Yet, they wanted to be friends. Captain Lee, the Admiral said quietly, what do you want from us? Nothing, Admiral. We just want to talk, to learn about each other, to share knowledge, and maybe become allies. For the first time since the battle began, Supreme Admiral Korthvex felt hope instead of fear. The war was about to become a friendship. Captain Lee Dongwu stood in the transport bay of his ship. Ki was preparing to do something that many would call crazy. Ki was going to visit the alien flagship in person. Captain, Lieutenant Kim Jae-ho said, are you sure about this? Have we still? Don't know if we can trust them. They've stopped shooting at us. That's a good start. Besides, someone has to take the first step toward peace. Dr. Park Sunmi joined them in the transport bay. I'm coming with you, Captain. As a scientist, this is the chance of a lifetime. First contact with another intelligent species. I'm coming too, Lieutenant Kim said firmly. Someone needs to watch your backs. The small human shuttle left the New Sol and flew toward the massive Vorthok flagship. The alien ship was so large, it looked like a floating city. Weapon ports covered its surface like metal teeth. Inside the Vorthok ship, Supreme Admiral Korthvex was nervous. He had never met aliens before, except to conquer them. Now, he was about to face creatures who could probably destroy his entire fleet with their bare hands. "Admiral," War Commander Dexmar said, "are you certain this is wise? These humans are incredibly dangerous. That's exactly why we need to make peace with them. If we can't defeat them, we must learn to live with them." The human shuttle docked with the Vorthok flagship. Captain Lee, Dr. Park, and Lieutenant Kim stepped out into the alien ship. Dozens of Vorthok soldiers surrounded them, but their weapons were lowered. The humans looked around with interest. The ship was built for creatures much larger than them. Everything was dark and angular, designed for war. "Welcome aboard," Supreme Admiral Korthvex said as he approached. He was enormous compared to the humans, standing nearly 8 feet tall. His dark scales gleamed under the ship's lights. "Thank you for inviting us, Admiral," Captain Lee said politely. "This is Dr. Park Sunmi, our chief scientist, and Lieutenant Kim Jae-ho, our security officer." The Admiral studied them carefully. These small creatures had survived weapons that could destroy planets. Yet they seemed so fragile and peaceful. "Please, follow me to our conference room," the Admiral said. "We have much to discuss. Stay." Walked through the ship. Vorthok soldiers stared at the humans in fear and wonder. Many of them had been in the boarding parties. It had seen their weapons fail completely against these strange beings. Dr. Park looked around with fascination. "Your ship is remarkable, Admiral. The engineering is very impressive. You are not afraid?" the Admiral asked, surprised. "Afraid? Why would we be afraid? You're not going to hurt us." War Commander Dexmar stepped forward. "Human, we just tried to kill you with our most powerful weapons. How can you be so calm?" Dr. Park smiled kindly. "'Cause you didn't know what we were. Now you do. Intelligent beings don't keep fighting when they understand each other." They reached the conference room. It was a large space with a massive table in the center. The humans sat on one side, looking tiny compared to the huge Vorthok chairs. "Admiral," Captain Lee said, "let's start with the basics. We are explorers from the planet Earth. We came here to study the stars and hopefully meet new friends." "Friends," the Admiral repeated slowly. "The Vorthok do not have friends. We have subjects and enemies. Well, maybe it's time to try something new," Dr. Park suggested cheerfully. Supreme Admiral Korthvex looked uncomfortable. "Dr. Park, our scientists have studied your homeworld. Earth appears to be one of the most dangerous planets in the galaxy. How did your species survive there? The same way any species survives anywhere. We adapted. Earth taught us to be tough, but it also taught us to work together." Lieutenant Kim nodded. "When everything on your planet is trying to kill you, you learn that cooperation is the only way to survive." War Commander Dexmar leaned forward. "But your planet has predators that could kill our strongest warriors. How do your children survive?" Dr. Park laughed. "Practice. Human children spend years learning how to deal with Earth's dangers. What seems impossible to you is just normal life for us." The Admiral was still struggling to understand. "Show me. I want to see how humans live on this death world." Dr. Park activated her portable computer. She showed videos of Earth that made the Vorthok officers gasp in horror. Children playing in snow that would freeze a Vorthok solid. Families swimming in oceans full of deadly predators. "This is normal?" the Admiral asked in shock. "This is a peaceful summer day," Dr. Park said cheerfully. "You should see what happens during a storm." Okay. She showed them video of a thunderstorm. Lightning that could power a city crackled across the sky. Humans were outside, some of them actually enjoying the rain. Impossible, War Commander Dexmar whispered. Those lightning bolts carry more energy than our plasma rifles. Yes, they do, Lieutenant Kim agreed. Getting struck by lightning is dangerous for humans too, but it's not automatically fatal like it would be for you. A Supreme Admiral Korthvex was beginning to understand. Here, entire species evolved to survive conditions that would kill us instantly. That's right, Captain Lee said. But that doesn't make us enemies. We want to learn about your culture, your science, your history. What could you possibly learn from us? The Admiral asked. We are clearly inferior to you in every way. Dr. Park looked surprised. Inferior, Admiral? You've built an incredible civilization, okay? Your ships are marvels of engineering. Your society spans multiple star systems. We could learn so much from you, but our weapons cannot hurt you. Kukaka, Sicily. Why would we want to conquer you? Captain Lee asked, genuinely confused. Conquest is wasteful and cruel. We prefer cooperation. The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. In Vorthok culture, the strong rule the weak. It is the natural order. On Earth, we learned that the strong protect the weak, Lieutenant Kim said. It makes everyone stronger in the long run. War Commander Dexmar looked skeptical. That makes no sense. Why help those who cannot help themselves? Because today's weak might become tomorrow's strong, Dr. Park explained. And because it's the right thing to do. The conversation continued for hours. Slowly, the Vorthok began to understand that humans were not conquerors or monsters. They were simply people who had evolved under very different conditions. Admiral, Captain Lee said finally, we would like to propose a formal peace treaty between our peoples, an exchange of knowledge and culture. The Supreme Admiral Korthvex considered this carefully. What would you want from us? To learn about your science, your art, your history, to share meals and stories, to become friends, and what would you give us in return? The same things. Plus, we could share some of our survival techniques. They might help your people explore more dangerous worlds. The Admiral made his decision. Captain Lee, I accept your proposal. The Vorthok Empire will sign a peace treaty with humanity. 6 months later, the first human embassy was established on the Vorthok homeworld. The planet was indeed a paradise compared to Earth. Gentle weather, beautiful landscapes, no dangerous animals. Dr. Park Sunmi stood in the embassy garden, watching Vorthok children play in what humans would consider perfect weather. The children stopped playing when they saw her and ran to their parents in fear. It's okay, she called to them gently. I won't hurt you. A young Vorthok mother approached carefully. Dr. Park, my son wants to know if you are really bulletproof. Dr. Park laughed. Well, you're bullets anyway. Would you like me to show him some pictures of Earth? The child nodded eagerly. Dr. Park showed him videos of human children building snowmen, swimming in the ocean, and hiking through forests. They look so brave, the young Vorthok said in wonder. They're just having fun, Dr. Park explained. This is how human children play. Supreme Admiral Korthvex, now Ambassador Korthvex, joined them in the garden. Dr. Park, the High Council has approved your request. We will allow a human expedition to visit our most dangerous world. Wonderful. What kind of dangers should we expect? Temperatures that vary by 20 degrees. Storms with winds up to 50 miles per hour. Some large animals that might be aggressive. Dr. Park smiled. Sounds like a lovely vacation spot. The ambassador shook his head in amazement. Even after months of friendship, he still couldn't believe how tough humans were. Dr. Park, he said, I have a question. Are all human worlds as dangerous as Earth? Oh no, she replied cheerfully. Earth is actually one of the gentler human worlds. You should see our colony on Titan. Now that's a challenging place to live. Ambassador Korthvex decided he didn't want to know. The friendship between humans and Vorthok continued to grow. Built on understanding, respect, and the knowledge that sometimes the strongest thing you can do is choose peace over war.